It's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now.
What countless Caitlin Clark supporters had been saying all season was finally voiced by Candace Parker. And many members of the WNBA's longtime establishment were not eager to hear it. The league needs to pay attention, especially the commissioner. While some observers argue that the situation has only deteriorated, many had hoped the new season would bring a more positive and balanced approach toward Caitlin Clark and her fans. Instead, they believe double standards, bitterness, and jealousy have become even more obvious. Candace Parker refused to stay silent during the controversial incident involving Alyssa Thomas and Caitlin Clark when Alyssa Thomas appeared to make contact near Clark's neck. Addressing the incident, she emphasized the importance of protecting players and ensuring fair treatment across the league. WNBA legend Candace Parker shared her perspective, and many viewed it as clear, thoughtful, and balanced. Her comments cut through the noise and encouraged people to look at the controversy from a fresh perspective. Perhaps now more people will stop and think. According to some analysts, this season has shown that the more success Caitlin Clark enjoys, the more controversy and debate seem to follow her. Let's take a closer look at Candace Parker's actual comments, which many have described as a powerful response to the WNBA establishment and Caitlin Clark's critics. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Believe it or not, over 83% of people watching still haven't subscribed. It costs nothing and takes only a moment, but your support truly means everything to us. So, have you subscribed yet? Awesome. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now, let's get back to the video.
But I've often used the line, Shay, that I'll share with you because I don't know if I've ever used it while you've been on the air with me. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose. I've said that many, many times over the years. There is a flagrant level of resentment that exists when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And it has existed since she has arrived in the league. She is the cash cow. Just recently, a couple of days ago, I think, we saw her and another player, I think it was Alyssa Boston or whatever, we saw them be the top two vote getters for the WNBA All-Star game so far. Every time you turn around.
When Candace Parker watched the replay of Alyssa Thomas allegedly making contact with the back of Caitlin Clark's neck while Clark was still reacting to an eye poke, she responded immediately and without hesitation. Candace Parker knows exactly what genuine competitiveness looks like because she spent years battling some of the strongest and most physical players in WNBA history. Even so, she felt that Alyssa Thomas's actions crossed the line of acceptable sportsmanship and fair competition. What Candace Parker said about the timing of that shove, however, surprised many people. This is where Alyssa Thomas's situation becomes even more damaging. Before we move on, please take a second to like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's return to the story. The WNBA legend raised a point that many fans have been thinking about for quite some time, but very few respected figures of her stature have been willing to address publicly. Candace Parker argued that taking a cheap shot at a player who is caught off guard and unable to defend themselves is completely different from playing tough, championship-level defense. She explained that during her own career, which was known for its physical style of play, players handled their disagreements face-to-face. If someone had a problem with an opponent, they confronted them directly instead of waiting for the right opportunity to catch them by surprise. That was exactly what frustrated Candace Parker the most about Alyssa Thomas's actions. And this is where Candace Parker's comments dealt an even greater blow to Alyssa Thomas's reputation. The WNBA legend was particularly troubled by what she viewed as Alyssa Thomas's response following the incident. Rather than expressing remorse or acknowledging that she may have crossed the line, Alyssa Thomas reacted as if the criticism from fans and the media was undeserved. "Damned if I do, damned if I don't," she said. That response only intensified Candace Parker's frustration. Candace Parker believes that the greatest players and true champions accept responsibility for their actions, especially when those actions place another player's safety at serious risk. She explained that seeing Alyssa Thomas dismiss the criticism and present herself as the victim reminded her of athletes who privately understood they could not compete at the highest level through basketball alone. Instead, they searched for other, more controversial ways to influence the outcome of the game. In Candace Parker's view, Alyssa Thomas was relying on questionable tactics instead of allowing her basketball skills to speak for themselves. This is where Candace Parker's analysis becomes especially compelling because it highlights one of Caitlin Clark's greatest strengths. According to Candace Parker, Clark possesses elite basketball IQ, the ability to deliver in the biggest moments, and the vision to elevate the performance of everyone around her. Those are the qualities that separate truly elite players from everyone else. However, she also sees something that genuinely worries her as someone who deeply values the integrity of the game. Instead of being able to focus solely on developing her remarkable talent, Clark is constantly forced to deal with unnecessary physical play and questionable tactics. According to Candace Parker, Alyssa Thomas's approach reflects the flaws in how some players have chosen to challenge Clark. Rather than matching her through hard work, preparation, and disciplined basketball, they turn to overly physical play when she is least able to defend herself. From Candace Parker's point of view, an alarming pattern has begun to emerge. Clark is repeatedly targeted during her most vulnerable moments instead of being challenged through pure basketball competition. Candace Parker did not hesitate to criticize that kind of behavior. She said she could hardly imagine a worse example of basketball competition than that. This is the part of Candace Parker's comments that has sparked widespread discussion throughout the basketball community. She compared the physical battles she faced during her own career with the circumstances Caitlin Clark is dealing with today. At the same time, she highlighted a key difference that makes Clark's situation far more significant. Candace Parker believes that, at just 22 years old, Clark has already faced more adversity than many professional athletes experience over the course of an entire career. And she's managing all of it while carrying the responsibility of being the undeniable face of women's basketball. What has been spreading across social media, however, is what Candace Parker said about Alyssa Thomas's future in the league, and it's something many people never expected to hear. Candace Parker argued that if the WNBA allows players like Alyssa Thomas to go after the league's biggest stars without facing consequences, it sends a message that struggling players can remain relevant through questionable tactics instead of improving their basketball abilities. She warned that this creates a dangerous precedent that could discourage the very players who are helping move the league forward. According to Candace Parker, when incidents like these are not addressed properly, the league risks sending the wrong message to young fans watching the game. Rather than teaching young athletes to take advantage of opponents when they are vulnerable, she believes they should be learning about skill, determination, hard work, and sportsmanship. Candace Parker believes protecting Caitlin Clark is about protecting the integrity and future of the game itself. She argues that basketball should remain physical and competitive, but player safety and fair, consistent standards must always come first. As the WNBA continues to grow, every decision the league makes will shape public trust and its long-term direction. Now it's your turn. Do you agree with Candace Parker's perspective? Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more WNBA and basketball coverage, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video.